And good afternoon, folks. Welcome to the program. I am your liberty-loving Latino, Chris Salcedo. Do not confuse me with loudmouth leftist Latinos out there. I actually love my country, the United States of America. And when I see our government heading down the same road as dictatorial regimes that have polluted world history, it's my duty and the duty of every American to speak up in an effort to prevent its happening. The lawless in America's government. That's our focus in tonight's preamble. Americans are remembering the worst foreign policy defeat in the modern era for the United States, the day Afghanistan fell to the terrorist Taliban. The chaotic, deadly, and moronic withdrawal featured 13 service members needlessly killed, thousands of Americans and allies left behind, tens of billions of dollars in weapons and equipment left behind to our terrorist enemies. It was the first sign that Joe Biden and his regime cared little for our people and protecting our way of life. As Americans mourn our dead and the loss of credibility on the world stage that we have suffered under Obama's Biden regime, back here at home, the DOJ and FBI are warning that they have allegedly endured threats in the wake of their seemingly politically motivated and lawless raid on President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. The architects of this raid claim that they are the victims of threats, even the threat of a dirty nuclear bomb being detonated in front of FBI headquarters. Sadly, I and millions of Americans don't believe them. This is the same group of people who lied to a FISA court to target President Trump, who forged documents to get to President Trump, and who refused to enforce laws prohibiting the illegal intimidation of Supreme Court justices, leading to the assassination attempt of one of those justices. This so-called warning is likely a fabrication, just like the FISA applications were a justification, so that our own government can have an excuse to get rough with our people, those who don't go along with their lawlessness. Because the raid was likely a fishing expedition with no clear legal justification, only a political mission to get Trump by any means necessary, the goons in the DOJ leadership took documents they weren't entitled to. Leftists across the fruited plain say that government can do anything it wants. They own us, after all, and we still have to bust our butts to pay their salaries. At this point, I'd like to point out that our recent history is replete with examples of alleged violations of our laws that were not pursued by the corrupted DOJ and FBI leadership. Resident Barack Hussein Obama has millions of documents that fit the classifications of those allegedly possessed by President Trump, yet no raid on Obama's home. There is an irony in the Department of Justice's zeal to pursue Donald Trump, with the FBI doing its dirty work, raiding Mar-a-Lago, grabbing allegedly top-secret documents. But it wasn't that long ago that another FBI honcho, James Comey, overstepped his authority to showcase that organization's partisanship, so much so that YouTube was on fire from a hysterically funny parody to illustrate it. Watch.
With respect to our recommendation, this is going to be an unusual statement in at least a couple of ways. Although there is evidence, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case. I know there will be intense public debate.
Yeah, it's funny. That is until you realize how twisted and sordid this has all become. To be clear, here's what Comey admitted that Hillary Clinton had done. From the group of 30,000 emails returned to the State Department, 110 emails and 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received. 8 of those chains contained information that was top secret at the time they were sent. 36 chains contained secret information at the time. And 8 contained confidential information, which is the lowest level of classification, end quote. Yet no raid for Mrs. Clinton. If you're looking for help from the hopelessly biased press, you can forget about it. Instead of asking the FBI and DOJ, hey, guys, why the double standard? CNN is busy asking that question of Republicans.
You said, quote, in May of that year, Hillary Clinton would be an awful president as she has shown a blatant disregard for our laws. You said former Secretary of State Clinton has put our national security at risk by showing a blatant disregard for highly sensitive classified information. In October, you said, I believe her actions as Secretary of State were not in accordance with the law. Some of your comments were said before it was even clear what was in her emails. You're not holding Donald Trump to the same standard. Why? And
of course, Hillary wasn't prosecuted. You're not The DOJ isn't holding Hillary to the same standard they're holding Trump to, or Obama to the same standard. In a word, folks, our situation is bad. Americans are confronted with the realization that our government has been weaponized, not to defend us, but to target us if we stray from the new anti-American standard. That standard will turn us into a banana republic. The new standard is, quote, Democrats, being the favored party of permanent Washington, get to violate the law with impunity. Conservatives, who believe in a government of, by, and for the people, well, they are now criminals, end quote. Those in power will manufacture, forge, lie, and falsely persecute anyone who doesn't go along to get along, like Mitch McConnell and an alarming number of the GOP. You know, we hire elected leaders of both parties to protect us from what is happening right now, an unelected class taking over through force. Even you Democrat voters out there should be asking, is this really the America I want? Do I support a government that has grown beyond the consent of the governed? If the answer is no, the time to push back is now.